Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Jesse Both of the 19th hole, and we're here to do the rookie guide for you all here today. And this is for the second anniversary tournament, which is going to start on Monday, the 21st of January. And it covers three different courses: the Parc de Paris, Nordic Fjords, Porthello Cove, and Eagle Point. So actually four courses. They took holes from each of those courses to create this tournament for the second anniversary tournament. So let's go ahead and get started. These are all holes that we have played, so this should be kind of review for you all. Hopefully this does help, jog that memory a little bit and get you on the path to a good tournament. So we got hole one here, which is, let's see, hole one, and this is a par four. I know Playdemic has said it was a par three on their release pictures, but it's definitely par four. And we play this one with plus 10%. And when I say plus 10%, I mean you need to add 10% extra to your wind for your shot. So, for example, if you had a 3 mile per hour wind off the tee box, plus 10% on that would be 0.3. So you would add that 0.3 to your 3 miles per hour for a ground total of 3.3 miles per hour. And that's what you would use to adjust wind-wise for your shot. So when you hear me say plus 10, plus 20, that's what it means. It means you need to add additional wind onto your shot in addition to the wind that you already have. If you hear me say minus, that means it's probably an uphill shot and you need to subtract. So like 3 miles per hour minus 10 would be subtract 0.3, so that would end up being 2.7, and you would adjust for 2.7 in that case. So hole one, I definitely recommend extra mile. If you have a quarterback that's a little bit higher leveled, that may be okay as well, and a lot of that kind of depends on the wind that we get. If we have a tailwind, the quarterback will probably be more usable, but you want to really land your shot in here. You may want to use some backspin and left spin to get your ball somewhere in this area right there. That's like the perfect zone to land your drive because it sets you up for a good second shot. And keep in mind, your drive always needs to be thought of as where do I want to put it to set me up for my second shot, and that's what we're doing here. Setting ourselves up for our second shot, which will be with the backbone. You can use the backbone. You can use the Goliath. I prefer the backbone because of the extra accuracy. But if you don't get far enough up the fairway, you may find yourself with not enough distance for that backbone. So definitely want to make sure that you set your drive correctly so you get your shot up into that circle area where I have the red circled area right there. So for your second shot, we're looking to aim our shot somewhere in this zone right here. Okay, and with any kind of side wind, we don't play any kind of adjustments, like no top spin, no back spin, no side spin. If we have a headwind, we want to go with about 1 bar of top spin, and if we have a tailwind, with about 1 bar of backspin. And basically what you want to do is you want to aim your ball guide over the bunker and the rough, somewhere right in there, and try to just aim the edge of that ball guide towards the hole as good as you can. You won't get a full ball guide to the hole, but if you can aim that in the direction of the hole, and then you'll adjust for your wind. And if you hit a perfect shot, much like I did on my video of the tutorial of hole one, you can get that eagle. There's a very nice channel down that hill and to that hole, as long as Playdemic doesn't do anything to mess with the fairway or the green, which they sometimes do. But as far as I know, that channel is definitely there for that easy eagle shot. If you have a higher level long iron and you want to go more of the backspin approach, maybe with like a Saturn, you could try to go straight to the green. But I would definitely be worried if you were farther back in that first fairway that you wouldn't have enough distance to get to the green. You would end up switching to like a wood club. So unless you have like a Guardian or something like that, I would stay with the backbone shot where you skip it over the bunker for sure. If we have a really good tailwind, I don't know if the shot will work, but I guess there would be a possibility of some sort of a big topper shot where you try to jump over this sand bunker area. I don't recall that being possible in the rookie division. I know it's possible in higher divisions with higher level drivers with lots of topspin, but I don't recall it being an option in the rookie division. I don't believe any rookie clubs would have enough topspin to make that shot. But if you're playing in the rookie with higher level clubs, that would definitely be an option if you have a favorable tailwind to hop that shot from here. You'll hit there in the rough, and then you'll roll out here into the fairway for a nice wedge shot to the green. Once again, most rookies would probably not have that option, but if you are playing rookie and maybe a higher level weekly division then with better clubs, then you could definitely maybe have that option. Just putting it out there. So, all right, moving on. Next hole. We got hole 2, and this is a par 3. I would say play plus 10% adjustment on this shot, and I think the way you're going to play this shot is going to be very dependent on what kind of wind we have. If we have anything pushing from left to right, we'll play our shot over here. If we have anything pushing from right to left, then we'll play our shot over here. So it really depends on the kind of wind that we get for this shot. No matter which side you play it on, I like the backbone. I think if you play it from that right side, you may possibly need to use a club with a little bit more distance, maybe a Goliath, but that will depend on the wind and stuff like that as well. And a backbone may be still fine over there as well. But plus 10% for the shot, and I would say go with a Quasar or a Katana ball. I would probably say the Katana ball, because you do want to have that extra side spin. So I think you at least want a +2 in the stat category as far as the side spin goes for your shot. So I really like a Katana ball for this shot, and I would go with about 1.5 to 2 bars of backspin for each shot on each side, and then you want to use your spin, your max spin accordingly from left to right. Definitely max right spin on that shot. And if you're taking a shot from the right side, just use your spin as you need to direct that ball to the hole. But like we said at the beginning, this shot really is dependent on what kind of wind we face in the tournament. I know last tournament we had the wind was more favorable from a shot from the left, fairway area right here, and the shot kind of comes over, bounces right there on the fringe, and then rolls to the hole. I want to say I got an ace in this hole in the expert last time we had this hole, but I can't remember this. There were a few holes on this course that looked kind of similar, but yeah, that's the shot right there for this hole. So moving on, hole 3. Come on now, hole 3, and this is a par 5. This is from the Nordic Fjords course. You should recognize this. We just had it recently. I wouldn't even bother with this right side. It doesn't offer you any better of a shot, and I don't believe if something doesn't give you a better chance to do something, it's worth even taking the shot. So I would say for that reason to forget about that right side fairway, unless we get some sort of like really crazy wind. We're making this shot to the left is just way too dangerous. I definitely would not worry about that right fairway, but you never know. We'll have to wait and see. But hopefully we get a wind that's favorable for us to play the left side. Plus 10% on this drive. I like an extra mile here, and I like to go with the Titan ball. I say the extra power is definitely a good thing. If you have a tailwind, you want to bounce your shot somewhere in here. If you have a tailwind, you want to use some backspin on your shot. Okay? And actually, you'll probably land it more like in this area right here. You want to use some backspin on your shot because your shot's going to come in and it's going to hit here and bounce over this bunker, land about there, and roll into that zone right there. But if you have a tailwind, you don't want to use topspin because you can roll through that fairway and into this rough or bunker area for sure. That would really screw up your hole. And I would say with tailwind, use a bar of backspin. If you have a headwind, use some topspin. And with the side wind, I would say somewhere around 0 to 1 bar of backspin as well. Full left spin I would use, and I would use a little bit of left curl. I would especially if you have a right to left wind, I would aim your shot a little bit farther to the right side of that fairway on the initial landing zone and use that left curl, and then let the wind kind of like help save you as pretty much like a great ball, great proofed shot. And that's what we did last tournament. But yeah, definitely be very careful about those spins on that drive. Depends on those winds, whatever kind of wind we get for this shot. For a second shot, definitely go with the big dog in the rookie division. You don't need to use a lot of topspin unless we have some sort of a crazy headwind. The last tournament, like if you have a side wind, you're going to be bouncing your shot somewhere in this zone right here, and then rolling it up the hill towards the green. With a tailwind, I would use somewhere around 0 to 1 bar topspin. With a headwind, you're going to go even more topspin. You'll probably use about 3 bars or so, maybe 4, for the headwind. And if you have just a side wind, I would go with not much topspin, if any. And basically what you want to do is you want to line the edge of that ball guide up towards the hole as good as you can, and then depending on what kind of wind you have, you want to offset that guide just a tiny little bit, because in the rookie you don't have high winds, so it doesn't require as much of an offset. So just a little bit left of the hole if you have a left to right wind, a little bit right of the hole if you have a right to left wind. If you have a right to left wind, do be very careful about offsetting that one too far right, because you do have this rough area right here. And a great right shot with a big dog and its accuracy could definitely possibly still go into that rough. So definitely be very careful on that second shot. At all costs, you want to make sure you get to the green for that eagle, and it's not worth risking a rough shot for a possible albatross on this hole. So make sure you get to the green, make sure you get that eagle. Next hole, we got hole 4 and a par 3. Our land zone for this shot is going to be right there, in between those two shadows on that sun area. That's going to be your most consistent spot to land your shot, as you saw in my video. We almost aced it from there. Plus 10% for this hole. I would definitely go with some sort of wind cutting ball. Navigator or katana ball would be good. And if you have you have some sort of a headwind, definitely go with the katana ball to give you that little bit extra power. And I would go with the backbone. I really like the backbone on this hole. And if you have a headwind, you may have to up your power on the ball again to possibly like a Titan ball to be able to use that backbone. If you don't want to use the ball and you just want to upgrade your club, go with the Goliath for this hole, and you don't have to worry about the wind for sure. But I personally like the backbone on this hole because of its controlled and accuracy numbers. 3 to 4 bars of backspin on the shot, and a couple bars of spin to the right to bounce the ball here and get that nice bounce and roll to the green. We just about aced it in our tutorial video playing that shot. So 10%, 3 to 4 bars of backspin, and then use the spin as needed to angle that third hop towards the hole. And don't forget, depending on what kind of wind you have, you may want to offset that ball guide just a smudge, just a little bit, not a whole lot though. Low winds, low offset. But it's good practice, because the higher you get in tours, you get higher winds, and then you need to eventually learn how to offset that ball guide a little bit extra for higher winds. Okay, we got the next hole here now, and that is hole number 5. And this is a par 5. Plus 10% off the tee box. It may actually be a little bit more than plus 10% if you have a tailwind at your back. Be very careful on this tee shot. You want to land your ball somewhere right in here. You see where the shadow is from that tree? That's about where you want to land that shot. But it is sloped kind of downward a little bit, so definitely be very careful on your tee shot to just adjust accordingly, especially if you have a tailwind. That plus 10% may not be enough, so just practice it, see what you think, and don't be scared to give yourself a little bit extra of a buffer on that shot. I say Titan ball for this shot. You can go with the big dog here. for your wood. And as far as your driver goes, this is either extra mile or big topper. You want a lot of topspin for this shot because you do need to hit through this neck area. Hopefully you get your drive somewhere out in here. Okay. And if from there, if you have, hopefully you have pretty good wind, you'll be using your big dog to take your shot up into this zone right here. And with top spin and right spin, bounce over, hit here, and then roll onto the green, hopefully towards the hole for albatross. That would be awesome. For that second shot, you will probably need definitely go with, forgot to say this, you definitely want to go with a minus 10% adjustment for the second shot, because you are taking your shot to an elevated landing zone. So minus 10% on that second shot for the elevated landing zone. So this is like a situation where instead of adding to your wind, you take away from your wind. And for that shot, I would say somewhere between 3 to 5 bars of topspin will be needed, and that really will depend on how far up, this fairway you are able to get. The farther up the fairway you get, the less overpower you need and the less topspin you may need, because you may be able to actually carry your shot, farther up into that fairway. The farther you can carry it, the more control you're going to have on where that ball goes towards the hole, and higher success rate of an albatross possibly. But definitely big dog for that second shot. All right, we got hole number 6 here now, and this is a par 4. And this is another hole that's going to be dependent on the wind. No matter which way you play, you'll play a plus 10% on this shot, and like I said, very dependent on the wind. If we have some sort of a left to right wind, we will play our shot over here. If we have some sort of a right to left wind, headwind, tailwind, then we may possibly be playing our shot more over into this zone right here. The reason I say that is because lower level rookie accounts don't necessarily have the drivers with the proper amount of curl that would be needed to make a shot on the left side. So you really need that extra wind push behind you to help you make that shot. So if we get the wind we want, we will be making a curl shot here and bouncing there over to this zone right here, and then hopefully rolling down to in there. You will do that with a Titan ball, full top spin, full right spin, and you use all of your curl possible. And don't forget to play that plus 10% on that shot. So if you get a really bad wind and you can't play left, then you're going to play this way. Probably going to be playing that with some backspin and left spin to get your shot into this circle area right here. And from there, you will have a long iron shot to the green, where you will bounce your shot on the fairway, and then hopefully have that good ball guide and roll it to the hole for a possible eagle. The reason why I really would stress to make sure that that left side shot is out of play before you just completely don't do it is because if you can make that shot, that second shot to the hole is either a short iron or a wedge shot, and depending on what kind of a wind direction we get for that second shot, it could be a very easy eagle attempt. So definitely don't just write that one off right away. Definitely give it a look and see what kind of a wind we get, and see if we have the possible, you have the possible equipment to make that shot. So if you do end up playing the shot to the right side, you can go to like a quasar ball. There's no need for a Titan ball in that situation. But if you do play the left side shot, you definitely want that extra power off the tee, and I would say go with the Titan ball for sure. Hole number 7, and this is a par 3, plus 30% off the tee box here. You're going to be aiming your shot for this zone right there. Going with a sniper or a viper here. Most people will probably use a viper. But if you have a sniper that's a little bit leveled up higher, you can definitely go with a sniper. As far as your ball goes, I would say Quasar Katana ball. You want a ball with extra spin for this shot, because you will go with full backspin and full right spin to land your shot there, bounce, and then hopefully roll to the hole for a possible ace. You're going to see a lot of people come really close to this ace and just miss it or just stop short. I remember this hole from the last time, and there were so many near miss aces on this hole. But yeah, plus 30%. Viper for most people. Make sure you take a ball with +2 in the spin stat category. Full backspin, full right spin, maybe some curl, and hopefully you can get that ace. But it's all about landing it in that consistent land zone right here where it's nice and flat, and you'll get a very consistent bounce. So one more explanation, a 30%. So let's just say you have a 5-mile-per-hour wind. So 10% of 5 mile an hour will be 0.5. So a 30% adjustment added to that will end up being 6.5 miles per hour, because that's 0.5 times 3, 1.5. So you just add 1.5 to your wind numbers, and then you adjust. So our adjustment would be for 6.5 miles per hour of wind. All right, we got hole 8 here. And it's a par 4. Very dependent on the kind of wind we get. Here is the way we're going to play it. If you get a really nice tailwind, this is definitely a big topper possible shot or extra mile. Power 3 ball. You want to take your shot up the fairway to this zone right here. And then you'll have a second shot with your long iron or short iron to the hole. Definitely a possible eagle there. If you have some sort of a side wind or like a right to left, wind, some sort of crazy wind, even a tailwind, you could play this shot to the left side as well over here. If you're going to play this shot, though, you're going to play with a plus 20% added to your wind value. You're going to play full topspin and left spin. Try to shoot it through these trees, hit the rough line here, and then roll out onto the fairway, hopefully, right there. And that's the way you're going to play that shot. You want about four bars of topspin for that shot, and you're going to use full left spin. And you just want to kind of aim that ball guide through those trees, hit the edge of that rough, and stop on the fairway. It's definitely possible to hit too far, end up in the rough over here, from which case you'll have a chance to go to the green still with your rough iron. But if you're able to make that shot well, then you'll either use your backbone or your Saturn to take your shot, tear to the edge of this fairway, hop it over, bounce, and roll to the hole, possibly for an eagle there as well. So that second shot with your backbone or your Saturn will be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1 to 2 bars of topspin. Okay, and it also may depend on the wind that you get for your second shot, as whether you add topspin or you take away topspin on that shot. So there you go, hole number 8. Yep, that's hole number 8. So one more hole, hole 9, and this is a par 5, plus 20% off the tee box. You want to land your drive somewhere in here. Hop right there. All right, sorry about that. Let's start this over. Hole number 9. Hole 9, par 5. Okay, plus 20% on the drive. Hopefully we get a nice tailwind on this shot because we're going to use full topspin, and we really want to land that shot fairly up there towards where this circle is. Hop over the rough. Really need to land that shot cleanly on this fairway to get a nice bounce down that fairway to set us up for our second shot. If for some reason we get like a really bad side or headwind, which I doubt we're going to get in the rookie, but you never know, our play will be to land our shot over here and get it up into this zone as good as we possibly can. Okay, and that's if we get like a headwind or just unable to hop our shot to that second fairway to the left. And both those shots are plus 20% adjustments. So keep that in mind. I would say extra mile, and I would say use your Titan ball for this hole as well. For our second shot, we'll first start with our second shot from the left side. Plus 10% for this second shot. And you have a couple options here, depending on what you do with your tee shot. If you do land your tee shot farther back in that second fairway, you'd be looking more of a hop shot over the rough towards the hole, and possibly getting the albatross that way, but definitely make sure you get the eagle on this hole. Don't want to do anything stupid and mess up and get a birdie instead of an eagle. Always make sure that you do have the eagle in your pocket. Now, if you are able to get the ball far enough down the fairway and you consistently feel like you can do that and you have a sniper, I would definitely use the sniper for that extra top spin, and then you will be in condition, you'll be ready for that rough bump. Now, if you don't have the sniper, you could try to use the horizon. That also would have the top spin for the rough bump. It's just about 2 bars of top spin, and aim your shot towards the hole. The horizon won't have as good of a ball guide, so it won't seem like the ball's going to go to the hole, but trust it, 2 bars of top spin is all you need. With the sniper, you will have the ball guide. With the Viper, you won't quite have the top spin to make the shot on the rough bump, but you will still get very close to the hole. So you could definitely try that as well if you want to. Or you could bring your big dog with you. That definitely has the top spin. But you'll be landing your shot somewhere right up in here. Just use like the edge of your red ring up there along the edge of the rough. And your second shot will go like this. And make sure you adjust for the wind. You add that plus 10%. 2 bars of top spin. Aim it at the hole. And maybe you can get that rough bump in for the albatross, which would be pretty awesome to see. And that's how you play the second shot. Now, if you're playing your shot from the right side, you do want to have a club with some power and top spin, because you will take the shot up here through these trees, either rough bump it here towards the hole, or if you could land it on the fairway with some backspin maybe, you could bring it back to the hole that way. But your rough bump is probably going to be the option for that shot, and you may not be able to get to the green, but you can probably most likely get to the edge of the green for a very easy chip in for your eagle. So that's how you're going to play hole number 9. Titan ball, plus 20% off the tee box. Extra mile, max top spin. You really want to get your ball deep into that second cut of fairway. That's really all it boils down to on this hole, is how can you hit your drive. So, and it will most likely take an overpower shot to play your drive. So be very wary of your wind direction. So if you have a wind coming from right to left tailwind, be more cautious. And if you're going to miss straight right, let that wind carry that ball left for you. And if you have a left to right wind, you want to be more cautious in that way. And if you're going to miss an overpower shot, miss it great left. Don't ever miss great in the direction of the wind. So like if you have a left to right ball, you don't ever want to miss great right, because that ball's going to take up and sail to the right. So yeah. All right, y'all. That is the whole tutorial. That is the tournament tutorial for the rookies for the 2nd anniversary tournament. Definitely exciting tournament here. Lots of good holes, a lot of fun holes. And good luck to you all. If you have not hit that subscription button yet and you enjoy my content, please do. I'd appreciate that. If you want to be notified when I release new videos or when I go live, you can also check that bell. Make sure you have those settings correct as well. If you want to go a step farther, you can check us out on Facebook and just type in your search bar, Golf Clash the 19th Hole, and it will pull up our community, and we welcome you to join us there as well. So thank you all very much. That was the rookie guide. Good luck to you all in the 2nd anniversary tournament.